Okay.
Got my red hat on even.
That's all right. I got a green shirt.
You're live. All right. Hey, Paula, how are you?
Hey, Jim. Great. Thanks.
So, super exciting one. This is about remote area medical. And um, I mean, remote area medical is just such a cool group. And we're bringing it to Olean again this year. So, why don't we start off? Let's do a normal podcast and then we'll talk about remote area. So,
Okay.
who are you, first of all?
Paula Synder. I came to Olean in 1978. If you want to know all that,
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not an Olean gal, as I was described a long time ago.
Okay.
Came from Silver Creek. Grew up there in Lake Erie for a long time. Parents had a vineyard.
Really?
Uh-huh. We no longer have it, but they had that for almost 50 years. And I went to college at Plattsburgh State and loved to ski. So I went from the furthest point in Western New York to the most furthest point in New York State, and graduated there and got married 10 days later.
Really?
Yep, 10 days later. The long story on that one. And
Wow.
then moved to Olean. And I started at St. Francis Hospital and worked there for 12. And then I went to home care and hospice.
So for people
4.
who aren't in the area, St. Francis Hospital is no more.
No, it's no more. Every time I drive by it, I feel sad.
Okay.
It was a great experience. And then came to home care and hospice, worked in home care, and then helped start the first hospice here.
Really?
Love that. Still love that. Would go back to it someday, I hope. In fact, I'm on their board now. And then came to JCC in 1992. You know, I didn't want to leave hospice. Honestly, it was one of those situations where a job interview came up, and you know how you should always interview? Should always interview? You know.
I mean, that's
Students
what they
should
said.
always
Yeah, yeah.
interview.
The students
Even if
should
you're
always
happy,
interview.
always
Yeah.
interview. And I said, okay, I'm going to interview, never thinking. And actually hoping that I would not get the job because I was so happy at hospice.
And yet you were so wonderful they offered you the job.
I would not say I was wonderful. Maybe I was the only candidate. I don't know.
No.
But I was picked up. I interviewed in July, and I didn't hear anything for months and months. I said, phew, okay, dodge that bullet.
Yeah.
And then they called me at the end of October and said, you got the job. And then, oh, no. But it actually, and then honestly, 33 years later, I am still here at JCC.
Wow.
I started out as their health center nurse here. And this campus grew and expanded, and they made me director. And then, ultimately 6 years ago, I became the director of the campus overall here. And I love students. Love students. And you do too, obviously.
Yeah. And you do have a big announcement they've already made. So I'm just telling people here, what's going on after the semester?
Well, in December, I retire.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm going to retire. It's, a bittersweet decision, but I think I've accomplished what Paula Synder can do in this role, and it's time to turn it over to people with newer ideas and youthful energy and the future. I think I did a great job in the past. I tried really hard, let's put it that way.
Sure.
And I
think you
tried
did really
really
well.
hard in the present.
I mean, it's a beautiful campus.
Well,
it's
thank you. It's wonderful. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful place, wonderful colleagues, wonderful
Yeah.
students, but now it's time to move it into the future. And I am not the future. I know that.
Not sure about that yet.
Well.
But anyways, not sure on that one.
In a lot of areas, I'm not.
Okay.
So.
You're not getting out of Ram that easy.
Okay. No.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back. I think it was 2017, 18. So we did 17. So it was probably 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And Bond Response is helping with some other groups on campus, or not on, from around the Olean area, and working at the King Street Park. We're putting in a new park. They got a lot of new equipment and whatever, everything, new mulch, the whole 9 yards. I'll let you take the story from there. What happened?
Well,
You were there.
yeah, I was there, and our new president, Daniel DeMar.
No, don't do that.
Really?
Oh, you just blew it. You blew the story. Okay, I'm going to have to take over. The story is so good. Ignore what she said for a second. I'm even turning her off screen. You can't watch this. Okay, so I did not know Paula. Like, I knew who she was. I knew
read
her
about you.
I knew her husband. That was it. Like, I didn't know her. And I knew that she had just taken over this campus very recently thereafter. Like, I don't know if it was immediately, like it was soon. And so I see her work, or see her there, and I'm working. And I said, you're Paula Synder. We've got to talk, because
You just said exactly
yeah,
that.
yeah, because I was trying to do this, do Rams again at St. Bonaventure, and we were having a really tough time getting moving. The first one was there, and then the next year there was a reason we couldn't do it, and the year after there, I mean, whatever. whatever. Not gonna. It was what it
It
was.
was all timing.
Yeah, it
right?
was all timing. I'll say that. Yeah. So I thought maybe we could do it in at JCC, and I did the normal spiel. RAM is so cool. It is amazing. You have people come from all over. They get free dental, free medical, free vision. It is spectacular. And doctors from all over New York State come, and you get people volunteering from everywhere, and they line up. And that was a spiel. And you said, do you remember?
No.
No, it was something to the effect of, that sounds great, but we'll have to talk to our president.
Yeah.
And I'm like, line up a meeting, like go for it right now. And you literally said, he's right there. And
That's true.
The two of us were both shoving. I had no idea he was
Yeah.
the president. When you put on work clothes, everyone looks the same.
Work clothes and work boots.
We
you
were
know,
we
yeah.
were shoveling mulch off of a big truck. He had been there, so we talked and it hit it off great. And we ended up having the first one after COVID was 21 here.
Right.
Yeah,
you literally negotiated that over rubber mulch and plywood.
Yeah, completely.
It was great.
Yeah.
And you both like to work in it, obviously.
So yeah, I mean,
I recognized you immediately because of your, what is it you call your hat? It has the back.
The thing that goes all the way back in the back.
Hat or something. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I immediately knew you because of all the articles in the paper about Bonner Response, which, by the way, I was really admiration of. So. Yeah, that all came together.
So in 2021, we did the first RAM in Olean itself.
Right.
And I thought it went great. We had, it was on campus here at JCC. And for those of you who don't know, JCC is in downtown Olean, New York. Olean, New York is a town of about 14,000 people. And right in the center of the town is JCC campus. And it's really beautiful. I mean, it's a nice little campus. And I don't know, honestly, how many people go here?
It depends. I mean, college-wide, we have 2,000 students between our two campuses. Okay. We have a lot of online, and then we have a lot of high school students that come as well. So it's a mixed bag of three different entities and workforce as well.
Yeah. So we did the event here. We had a tent outside this window, and we had another tent over there, and it was in the real COVID. It was in the COVID era. And then we went and that was 21. We do them in Olean every other year. We do them elsewhere in the opposite years. So in 2023, we did it at the Olean YMCA. Right. Things had changed here, that the rooms weren't available and whatever. So we went to the Olean YMCA, had another spectacular event. And then this year, where are we?
Back at the Y.
Back at the Y in Olean, New York. Yep. So why don't you talk about RAM for a little bit? When is it in Olean? And why should people come?
Well, RAM, I think I have to preface it first. It's a wonderful collaboration between our entities, with you really spearheading
There's a lot
the
of
Bonner
entities.
Response.
There's a lot of entities.
But it wouldn't have it. He doesn't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, and he can't cut it out. Jim Mahar led RAM. And that collaboration between his Bonner Response students and team, and then his faculty at Bonner's and our faculty here at JCC and our respective health professions, nursing programs together, everybody just jumps in and helps serve people who need medical, dental, visual resources. Everything under the sun is somewhat available to people who have been fallen through a system that is so broken.
And again, lots of people have no idea what we're talking about. So try to imagine all of a sudden on Friday, trucks come with everything. They
double-decker trucks.
Double-decker. They have dental chairs. They have X-ray equipment. They have lab work. Everything. A place to build glasses, to grind glasses, to make glasses. They have everything, and we set up all day Friday. And then Saturday, we start early in the morning, like super
6
early.
6
a.m. And
doors open.
There's usually a line at 6 because it's first come, first serve. And people come in and we treat them roughly until 5 o'clock at night, something like that. I mean, I would not recommend showing up at 5 o'clock. You won't get waited on, but it varies 2 to 3 hours probably to get through from
one
beginning
service,
to start. Yeah.
And you might be around and stay for another if you're lucky enough to sign up for 2.
Yeah. So dental, vision. So vision is typically difficult. I think we have enough people this time. Dental is the biggest component.
Right.
And what do we do dental wise?
Dental, we do cleaning, we do extractions, we do fillings. Some folks had had some, what is it called when you put a little cement over a partial plate that
Oh,
is,
I don't know.
sometimes people
Not a
have
dentist.
teeth broken and there's an ability to have a temporary cap.
Yeah. Cap.
Something put
Yep.
over it, although that's an extreme case. But the extractions, the cleaning, the fillings, all of that can be done by our dental volunteers.
And I, for those of you who know me, and if you've ever listened to any of these podcasts, you know there's always one thing is the theme of everything is that community, and every single person on the face of the earth has something to add to make the world a better place. And you just have to work with others nonstop. You want to name some of the groups that have come and worked with here or we've worked with?
Oh my gosh, who haven't we worked with? You know, we've worked with hospital personnel, we've worked with Universal Primary Care volunteers, we've worked with Olean Medical Group volunteers, we've worked with Eye Associates, retired ophthalmologists and opticians have come, dentists have come. As far as the resources go, the warming house.
Well, let me just, not just local here, but we also had Canisius College is enormous. UB Dental, amazing. I mean, all Penn State has come. I mean, there are lots of groups that come.
Saco Eye Group, SUNY Vosh out of Manhattan. There was Delhi University sent students the last time. Just once the word is out, people really enjoy it, and we can talk more about how.
So
it is.
I mean, I guess if you know someone who needs help, come. There's no questions asked.
Correct.
At all.
No ID needed, no insurance needed, no questions asked. There's no reason for anybody to be afraid to come and get help and the care that they need. Correct.
And the joke always is you can tell them you're Donald Duck and we'll take that. You'll go through the system as Donald Duck.
Exactly. Women's health. You know, some women are not able to get the women's health care and the women's testing that they need. Come to this clinic.
Yeah, come by all means. And I think it's just great. So last year we did it over in Jamestown.
Right.
And I don't know where we'll do next year. Not sure yet.
We'll figure that out.
Work in progress. But why don't we just? I think there's so many ways I want to go, but I guess I'm going to start with why should someone volunteer?
Oh, that's so easy. You know, when Jim put this to us, we had no idea what to expect. I mean, we had no idea. I mean, I knew he kept assuring us, you can do this. You can believe me. You can do this. And I'm thinking, I'm a planner. So as a nurse, I'm a planner. And I think that's why we get along so great. But I'm panicking, like leading up to it these many days towards RAM, and my stomach started to hurt and I started to not sleep. And then once I went through it, all I can describe is the joy and the gratitude of people in need being heard, and not just being heard, being served. We serve them. Service is, you are service. You should have a big S for Superman service on your shirt. But service is I get so much more out of serving than I could possibly imagine they get from the service we give.
I agree. I mean,
I've been a nurse a long time. 47 years now I've had my RN license, and this was the first clinic, was probably the first time in a long time tears were brought to my eyes about what we were able to provide people, and the gratitude and joy, the joy they express, and the RAM Corps team, the joy they bring in servicing people.
We didn't bring that up. We should probably mention that. So RAM, where's RAM out of all of that? We don't do a lot of it. They do a lot of the organization. They bring all of the equipment. Where are they from? I'm wearing their shirt right now.
I'm from Tennessee, and they come up with 30 core team members who are all very skilled in these pop-up clinics. They know how to set it up. They do it completely. You open up a building and you see a gym, and then the next day you walk in and there's 20 individual dental tents and a room with individual eye stations to have eye exams, and a trailer that makes the glasses on site. But these 30 people go all over the country and sometimes the world to do these pop-up clinics, and they know exactly what they're doing. They just move into a site, we host it, and they do their thing.
So this year there's also audiology on Saturday.
Yes.
So come and get yours tested if
Yes.
you're thinking, man, do I need hearing aids? Come and get tested. Really simple. Um, Also, I think the other I want to talk a lot about the volunteer experience and some of the stories, but before that, I think we've also left out one group that without it, this is just a good idea. Donors.
Yes.
Donors. I mean, you need volunteers for sure. We need patients for sure, but we also need donors.
Yeah.
Ballpark. I think they tell you should plan on about $30,000.
Right.
So, I mean, there's so many groups. I'm not going to try naming them all, but I
Right.
mean, the Stitt Foundation from the very start has been very much
Fourfield
involved with it.
Presbyterian Church, Highmark, in kind services. We've got the churches donating the meals because we have to feed 250 volunteers 5 times over the weekend.
Here we go on food.
I
Be
know.
careful.
Jim doesn't want to talk about food. But that's why we created a separate committee so that Jim doesn't have to hear about it. But the funding for that. But we also put up the providers that come from out of town. They don't all ask for us to pay for their hotel, but we're raising money so we can do that because it's easier on a provider to come and know they have a place to stay and they don't have to worry about paying for it on their one weekend off perhaps a month.
Yeah.
And then the core volunteer, we have to put up 30 people in the local hotels as well so that they can stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and Sunday night and drive or fly home the next day.
Yeah.
So we have fundraising to do, and no amount is too small. We get cash for $5. We get checks for $25. Every amount is donatable to the RAM Foundation at the Cattaraugus Region Community Foundation. But I won't take away your.
No, that's great. That's wonderful. And
right
I really think it takes everyone. I mean, I know it's been politicized, but the saying "it takes a village" is absolutely true. I mean, there's just everyone at some point. And I was talking earlier today about this to someone, and I mentioned that, who knows at what point, like, I know people who have worked on Wall Street or are now homeless. Who knows, maybe 2 years from now, we're going through, you just never know.
Right. And people we really care about and colleagues, everywhere I go, and I know everywhere you go, I'll walk in with a flyer and say, by the way, please send your staff, if they have these needs, send them, because you're right, Jim, we need volunteers, but
here are the flyers. If you need flyers, I'm going to post this online as well. So if you need flyers, September 13th, 14th, Olean, New York. Yep. So,
and I forgot to say the date. Thanks for that. And we need patients. This is a walk-in clinic. There's no appointments. Just start coming in. It's by 6 a.m. Saturday and by 6 a.m. Sunday, the 14th.
So wonderful. It's an amazing event. Now we're going to tell some stories about the event, which is that's the best, I think. So I'm going to start off. We're going to alternate back and forth. I know I have one I want to tell, the very first one. So Dominic Calaruso was one of the lead, and Kevin from UB was one of the leads on this one, and they brought it to Olean. And St. Bonaventure in 2017 was the first RAM clinic in New York State.
Mm-hmm.
And I came very late to the game. I didn't know anything of it. And about a month or so out from it, they said, we really need volunteers. Response, can you help? And from that point, I sort of took over the whole volunteer side, and we got quite a few. And again, with my hat, which you talk about, I should have had it today. I have a rad hat, though.
I see that.
Yeah,
I missed the other one, though. That's how I recognize
Yeah. She's a DJ. She's the world's best DJ. Hannah Red. Follow her, like, completely.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, she's amazing.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah. And I'm definitely showing her that. There's no question that's not going to her. But anyways, we're in the Riley Center on St. Bonaventure University campus, and the lead priest, the vice president of whatever at the time, University Ministries, the whole thing, was Father Richard, and he and I have a video of him saying that, like, this is the most Franciscan thing I've ever seen. Like, it is just like helping whoever needs it. Like, just show up, get help. Like, if we can help, we will. And it was a great event. As the second day was wrapping up, someone, I don't know, don't remember his name, I'm sorry, was walking around, and I wish I had a bunch of paper towels, because if you can imagine putting a bunch of paper towels in your mouth, get gauze everywhere. He could barely talk. He could barely speak. And he went to the desk where the people were signing up, and they were just beginning to take that down. And he said, "Who's in charge here?" And I'm like, we're in trouble. Like, you've heard this story again, because I just said something similar about New York City, but who's in charge? So it comes to me, and I'm like, oh boy, what happened? And I walk over to him. "Hi, sir. Can I help you?" And he started hugging me and crying. And he had 13 teeth removed. Like, just stop for a second. Imagine 13 teeth removed, and crying tears of joy because his mouth had hurt for over a decade. He couldn't chew, he couldn't eat, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't afford anything. He couldn't, and this was the first time. And at that point, we were doing it again. Like, there was just no way we weren't going to do another one of these. So yeah, that's my story, my first story. I'm going to give it to you. You can tell a story about someone we helped. Anyone, maybe Max, maybe.
Yeah. Last year at the Jamestown campus, we did it just to get it over in Chautauqua County, and we want to do that again. But there was a young man who ended up at the clinic, and one of the nurses who was part of the core team got talking to this young man. He had very badly infected foot. And in the conversations, the young man was basically homeless. He was basically parentless, and he had no guardians. He was still in high school, which made this a little touchy. But he had a terribly infected foot, and this is what really upset me. So is that he had father had died. He'd been abandoned by other family members, and he was living in an apartment with two other young men working part-time in high school at a grocery store.
Not mine. Don't
No.
blame me.
No, this was in Jamestown. Jim's clean on
Don't
this.
blame me.
And his foot was so infected he could barely walk. His school guidance counselor and the teachers there had kind of taken him under their wing as best they could. And he came to the RAM clinic because the guidance counselor said, "Go. I heard about this thing with free care. Go get it looked at." He had a massively infected foot. But the worst part, in addition to that, was he barely had anything to eat and clothes, and he had braces on his teeth. Now, we're talking a high school junior at this point. It braces on his teeth that had been on his teeth since 8th grade because the family just disintegrated that he had. So he was walking around with these braced teeth with no dental care, nothing. And the RAM core team got the word out to the whole RAM volunteers that day, which was 250 of us. And all of a sudden, things for Max started getting put in place. And one person took him to the drugstore to get his antibiotics that night. And the dental team that came down from UB removed the braces, cleaned his teeth, filled teeth, got him set with his oral hygiene. I don't know if he needed glasses at the time or not. Then the rest of the team, the local team in Jamestown, found him a place to live because, come to find out, the roommates had stolen his cash for his apartment, and he got evicted. So, I mean, it was just one horrific thing for this young man after another. And bottom line is, RAM really probably saved him.
Yeah.
And that was just one story out of the 257 people we saw last year.
Yeah.
Right.
And they all have a story.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
He is graduating this year. He has been accepted into JCC at this point. He in Jamestown. He may be going to JCC. He's also considering the military. So that was I think a turning point in Max's life.
Either way, I don't think either one of those events would be happening had it not been for RAM.
Correct.
And yet RAM, you don't see that on the list. You don't see dental, vision, like medical. That's not one of the things that shows up, but it happens.
And that's just one patient. And the woman that drove here for our second RAM from Delaware.
Well, that was So they typically, I have been on parking details, and so parking lot you have to do overnight. And if you watch the videos online, especially in the South, people line up early, and there's by 6 o'clock in the morning, there might be a line of 100 people waiting to get in. This is all first come, first serve. Nothing. The people go home at some point, right? They can't stay here forever. So it's first come, first serve. Get here early. I know I hate getting up early too. Just get up early and come. And they all say, well, people will start showing up at whatever time. So we were setting up at the JCC campus, downtown Olean, and a woman shows up. I'm tired. It's the end of the day. We had been setting up. We were at that time, I think we still had masks on. I think, right? We had masks on that first year. So, I mean, it was hot. It was September 10th that year. And they all said, hey, the first patient is here. And so I walked over to the parking lot and ran into her and get talking. And she said, oh, I'm from, I'm near the Pennsylvania border, just across the river. Now, for those of you who don't know, right now we are sitting 8 miles from something like that, the Pennsylvania border.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we are northern Pennsylvania is just down the road. Like literally, if you go out, this goes 8 miles. So. And I'm like, okay, why are you telling me this? Like, it didn't make any sense to me why she was telling me she was near the Pennsylvania border across the river. I'm like, okay, great. Congratulations. I don't know what to say. And then she keeps talking. And all of a sudden, at some point, it clicks. She's not talking northern Pennsylvania. She's across the southern Pennsylvania border. She had driven 5-6 hours up here to come to Ram. And I was like, whoa, okay, I guess like this is, and I think we forget how big of need there is and how far people will come. I know last year, I think the first people showed up about 6 or 7 at night for the night. Again, overnight, they stayed all night in the parking lot. The next morning, they got waited on, treated. So there's a big need out there. I mean, do you have any others before I interrupt and go down the next 10?
I remember, the ones that stick in your memory. What sticks in my mind is the joy when you walk by people and they know you're part of the team.
Yeah.
And there's smiles and they're reaching out
Yeah.
and grabbing your hand and saying, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm not accustomed to that.
That's
I'm
true.
a nurse. I do my job. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not used to seeing joy of something that I take for granted.
Yeah,
because I have
sure.
health insurance and I have access to what I need for the most part.
Yeah.
But to not have that and go without it and have your health suffer so badly and you barely have food, medical care, come on, you must be kidding me. But I remember a woman came with a baby in a carrier. And we had optical at that time, but we didn't have as much optical as we do now. We didn't have the providers because it was our first run.
Yeah.
And she waited 6 hours outside our little train station that was the ophthalmology area
right
with a baby in a carrier. And it was cool that morning. She got there at 6:30 and she waited 6 hours to get a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And we made sure she had food from the generosity of the warming house at that time, who make our clients something to eat should they need it. And she waited and got those glasses with the baby in the carrier. And she changed the baby and she was there for 6 hours. I'll never forget that. And she was alone. She was obviously a single mom, she said. And this was the best she could get.
I mean, that happens all the time.
The time. That's just one story.
And they get the glasses. I mean, most people get glasses an hour later. I mean, you walk out, there's a semi, they take them in, they walk out, here are your glasses. It's amazing. It's truly unbelievable. And the first time I saw it, I was like, wait, this can't possibly work. And it did. And it has everything.
And that's the problem, Jim. Is that it's such a good thing. It's such a miracle that we've become so jaded, and rightfully so, in humanity, that you look at all the awful stuff in the world, and then you look at this and say, how could this be?
Yeah.
But
it's free. It's
free.
Everything. And so we've been saying, just for the poor, et cetera, but I mean, people, like, for any number of reasons, sometimes can't get out. Like, they can't do whatever.
Right. Or they have some insurance, they have limited insurance, but their insurance will not cover eye or dental.
Or they just can't even get an appointment.
No.
Like, I mean,
Right.
my dad's sick. I mean, I will tell you, you schedule appointments 3 months out for something that should probably be seen next week.
Correct.
And that's just how it is. So in 23, my dad did come. We were, I'm trying to think what he was, whatever. I don't remember. My sister brought him down to the clinic, and he needed a new pair of glasses. He insisted he didn't, but he did. He needed a new pair of glasses. So he got treated, and in the screening process, they found out he had cataracts. And as a result, I mean, we ended up going and getting referral and all this. And eventually he had a cataract surgery because of what they found at RAM. So I think and there's lots of, I mean, I know last year in Jamestown, we had some people who got some, results that they needed to know. I mean, they had to be treated. I'm thinking the women's health issues that finding out that you have something might have saved the person's life. And the return is just amazing. And I know, I mean, it's because of the volunteers and all this, but for raising $30,000, I'm hoping to go over 200,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get to $250,000 of free medical in a weekend.
And that's what we actually give away. That's
right. That's a low estimate too. That's a low estimate.
Very conservative.
That's Medicare rates. That's a super low estimate. So, so what are some differences we're doing this year? So let's talk a little about the busing. I think that's an important piece that we need to let people know about.
Well, this year, Jim and I really wanted to concentrate on working with groups that serve people who really have maybe slipped through and are totally forgotten or struggling, or we see every day and we know, how are they living? How are they alive? How are they even breathing every day? And so we've reached out to more church groups. We've reached out to groups like the Genesis House. We've reached out. In Tandem has always been a huge supporter of ours, but other groups that serve people who do not have everyday needs met at all. They have nothing. And you jump in too, because you know some.
So, well, I mean, I think that's bit, like, for sure. We're working with Harvest House and all the local
Harvest
food pantries,
everybody.
All of that. Like that's part of it. But I think also just getting the word out. If you're watching this and you know someone, man, my neighbor could use this, or I could use this. Show up.
And transportation.
So well, that's the next part. That's the bus. That's the
busing system. So this year we are working with our partners at Olean School District, Jen Mahar in particular. She is helping us with school bus transport with her families and her students, and through varying housing projects through the city. But also a big addition is the Arden Solutions. It's technically the Oats bus that's now running between Allegheny County and Cattaraugus County now. And we've got a huge route set up in Allegheny County that's going to come in. And that route's going to be published very shortly, where there's going to be drop off and pick up twice on a northern route and a southern route, and coming into the Y and dropping people off. Now, there isn't going to be constant routes, buses runs, but there are going to be 2 runs for each route coming into the Y, with signs at the pickup and drop off points of what time we're picking up and dropping off in Allegheny County, coming into the Y. And then the Oats bus will be running through from Salamanca to Olean at points, and we're going to have signs at those drop off and pickup sites. So that will be published as well. Much more concentration on transportation, because that has gone to the top of people's basic needs. They don't have cars and ability to get places.
Well, I've seen stats. Roughly a quarter of the households in the Olean city itself do not have vehicles.
Right.
So
it's a student problem too. I mean, we see it at the community college level too, where students don't have vehicles. They can't afford the vehicle, let alone the insurance.
So I guess, I mean, is there anything else on RAM you want to talk about? I mean, we haven't talked enough about food yet. Go ahead. So this is a running joke, just so you know. I know it doesn't play well to people who are outside this joke, but last time we had meetings, and I'm not making up, our meetings would be maybe like an hour, and something like 58.5 minutes of it were devoted to food, and then everything else was like, oh, by the way, we need people have glasses and stuff like that. I'm slightly exaggerating.
He's more than slightly, but I let him do it because he's the host. You run this gig, not me.
So anyways, so there's lots of things that we need people for.
Right.
One of which is helping serve food. One of which is helping set up. One of which is cleaning up afterwards.
Guiding people to the right spots. I mean,
parking,
helping in ophthalmology, parking, dental. I mean, all kinds of things.
Picking up chairs,
sitting and registering patients.
So there's lots of things that people can do. If you want to register, go to ramusa.org and volunteer please do that.
If you have a specialty, if you're a licensed practitioner, as a nurse, a doctor, an optician, medical, it'll be one of the most satisfying experiences you'll ever have in your life, and you'll want to do it again.
Completely.
Take it from me. I've been in this field
Yeah.
for 47 years.
I know bond response, and I'm not quite willing to go to positive ripple, maybe, but within bond response for sure, we do lots of things. We go after disasters. We do, we do ramps. We've done 360 ramps. We've done, tons of work around town. I am convinced that September 13th and 14th will be the biggest contribution that we make all year long. And that's saying a lot because we do a ton of stuff on a lot of different levels. And I think this is the most valuable one. So come get involved. It's fun. It's just a blast. It really is. It's exhausting. I realize the shifts are long, and I realize the work is hard, and yeah, but it's fun.
But the people you meet, lifelong friends,
absolutely. And even the people that you meet that you don't become friends with, and there will be if you come from out of town, you may never run into the person who drove from Philadelphia or the person that drove from, central Pennsylvania last year. Like, you may never meet them, but you'll never forget them. And that idea that, there's nothing, for a day, politics are gone. It's not, it's not red, blue. It's nothing. It's just, oh, that person needs help. Let's go help them. And I think when we do that, the best of everyone comes out. And it's just, it is a very welcoming, very everything. Please come, please get treated. It's great. You'll love it. So, anything else on RAM?
Nope.
No.
I think it's wonderful. You have questions, contact him. And anything except food. Do not call him about food. If you want to donate anything, let us know. You can call me.
The foundation,
Yes.
Cattaraugus County Regional Foundation, is great. They have we have an account there. The account is not Bonaventure. It is not JCC. It is not any. It is all of us share it. So we don't. Money isn't going to be like.
Right. It's only for RAM clinics, and it's under RAM.
Yeah.
R, capital R, capital A, capital M.
Okay. So that's it for RAM. Now the surprise part that I did. If she read the questions I sent her.
I did. I read everything you send me.
Okay. So
sometimes I go, what?
Yeah. So we always end with, I listen to a ton of podcasts. I picked some of my favorite parts of other podcasts. So let's tell a fun fact about yourself.
That I was not to be a nurse.
Oh, really?
No, I was not. I was going to go to college for voice.
Voice, like singing?
Like singing, professional singing. Yeah.
Okay. So there's still TikTok streaming. There's still, you could sing.
That ship has sailed.
No, I don't think so.
Well, there's a reason why.
Okay.
Because when I was 17, I was in a very bad car accident, and I was a passenger, and it was totally innocent. I was in a car with my girlfriend, and she asked me to reach down in the glove compartment and get something for her. And as I reached down, I said, Pam, I can't find it. And she tried to help me. The car went off the road, and a guardrail came through the glove compartment and took the top of my scalp off, and a lot of teeth and some injuries.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Fun fact that we didn't know.
Oil of Olay works, and a very good dentist. But what happened was I lost my perfect pitch. And so there was enough of a head injury and enough of a dental damage that my perfect pitch was gone. And so the career in voice was gone.
I've listened to an awful lot of streamers. You'd be fine. They're not, I'm saying they're not all perfect pitch. Let's just go with that.
Well, anyway, so that was over. And I was young enough so you can pivot.
Okay.
And it wasn't because of the hospital care I got that I wanted to go into nursing. It was just, I didn't come from a family that had very much. And my mother always said, you have got to go to college and you have got to be able to support yourself. You've got to, because she didn't, and she wouldn't have been able to. So we took a trek. That's the fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
There it is.
I didn't know that.
There it is.
Favorite, I don't care. You can do either book, TV show, podcast, whatever. What? Tell me.
The favorite TV show right now that I am just cannot wait to see season 5 come out is The Chosen.
Okay.
I am absolutely overwhelmed with how it has taken the story of Christ and turned into a story that everyone who either has an interest in Christ or is connected to a spiritual entity, it explains everything in a world that needs some explanations to keep going. And I can't, that's my favorite right now.
Okay. Very interesting. Favorite book?
Favorite book. It's a book called Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher, and I read it at least 10 times and keep
Really?
reading it. Yeah.
What's it about?
A woman's life changes and how it just all works out in the end. It all works out in the end.
Okay. And then you have to answer a question. I'm trying to think very hard because I didn't write it down. Okay.
Oh, nice. So that means I didn't get it either.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
didn't write it down.
Yeah.
So one of the previous so what this part is, we leave a question for the next guest. So a previous guest asked this question for you. So, and I will put it, I can maybe help you a little on this if you need the help, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
So he was a risk manager. He worked for ExxonMobil for years. And he said that every company, every organization, everything has risks that sometimes they think about, that they know about, sometimes that they don't know about, don't think about. I will put it in the RAM hat. What could go wrong on the RAM event, and how are we dealing with that event, whatever it could be?
My first thought was food, but you don't want to hear that.
I'm almost sort
I
of
know.
do, because
I
what
know.
could go wrong
No.
in food?
What
Oh
could
my God,
go
they
wrong at
burned,
RAM, and how do we
they
deal with
burned the
that?
subs.
Yeah. I think it's that we don't have enough patience. I think that would be the thing that would
Okay.
keep me awake at night.
I mean, it could pour rain. It could be a thunderstorm.
Well,
that day.
we almost did have that,
Yeah.
but we had a picture perfect weekend here the first time we did it
Yeah.
because RAM was outdoors. That's
Yeah.
when they stopped allowing RAM.
Yeah,
to be doing
because
other
of storms
times
at
because of
other
storms.
places. Yeah.
What could go wrong at RAM? That we wouldn't have enough patience, and that we
Yeah.
had raised all this money and gotten all these professionals in, and we didn't have enough people come. That would be my worry.
Yeah. That I think we hope we're past that one. That was my early on. The first one we did, we had no one at the beginning. Like, we expected this massive rush, and it didn't happen. But then what happened was the people trickled in, and all of a sudden they started telling, like, they would call home, "Hey, come in! This is real."
And then you got on social media.
Yeah,
So
this is real. No one believed it, and it is. I mean, it is like you said before, almost too good to be true. Yeah, so that's hopefully one that we've passed. I hope we get enough customers. I hope we get. I am convinced, and I know I am overly optimistic, but I am convinced we have capacity to do double what we did last time.
I agree with you.
I mean,
especially with these buses and transportation.
We had down times last year. In fact, that's when my dad came in. I remember saying, "Hey, there's no one here. If you want to come in, we have volunteers sitting around doing nothing." And that's what they did. So, like, you may have to wait a while at times, but please come. Like, let other people know about it and come.
A couple hours is better than 3 months.
Oh, for sure.
For service, right?
And free. At the end of the day, it's
totally free.
Yeah.
Totally free.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And for those of you who have listened this far, thank you so much. I hope you come. I hope you get involved. I mean, we are still looking for volunteers, especially for setup and takedown. Everyone wants to get out of town afterwards.
Give them the volunteer.
Yes.
Link.
So it's ramusa.org. I will put it in the show notes as well.
Great.
But please come out if you are a Bonaventure student. And I guess there's a slight problem because they tend to shut off volunteers early, and people will not be back yet.
And we may have to look at our calendar year when we do it again to get students back, because ours don't come back either.
Yeah,
until,
we come back September 1st this year.
We're a week earlier, but that's still a hectic time.
Yeah, so we're going to be really rushed to get volunteers, but I will have a page, a link off the boundariesponds.org site as well. And what we're going to do for campus, just we talked about busing for patients. We have not talked about busing for volunteers. We will also be running some type of van or truck or something back and forth from campus, from the St. Bonaventure campus to the YMCA multiple times, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm not sure the times yet, but just stay tuned. Please sign up. Please come out. yeah. So Paula, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim.
I don't get to interview people who I work with on an almost daily basis.
I
You
know.
you must get sick of my text because
Not
I
at all.
text so
Not
many.
at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
This guy is wonderful. And it really has been a joy to meet you and count you as a friend now. And I count you as a friend because of Ram.
For sure. It is the same, and it is a labor of love. I don't know
It
how else
is.
to say it.
It
Like,
is.
I mean, neither
It
of us
is.
get paid to do this.
Yep.
It's just
joy.
It
It's
is.
joy.
It is.
In a
and-
world that could use it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
Thanks,
thanks
Jim.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thank you. Bye. All right. That's good. 45 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah. Very good.
Great.
Yes. I'm gonna hit done. And
Yeah, I
that's
read
saved.
everything you give me because I
Yeah.
don't want to be surprised.
Your stopped immediately will no longer be. So okay.
Do you need some more water?
No, I'm good.